stupid racism. That's not even good racism, isn't that right? That's the dumbest racism I ever seen. I say, if you're going to be a racist, go all the way. Say, I'm better than everybody. But don't say I'm better than you, but I'm not as good as him. I said, that's slavery teaching. That's ridiculous. But remember now, and I'll close with this, is the colonial mentality. Remember, slavery produces a mentality. Slavery produces a mentality of inferiority. Those people are better, strong, something about it. They bread, they salt and salty, they grass, you know what I mean? There's something about it, you know. Slavery teaches you that. Or they teach you that in slavery. Same thing with colonialism, isn't that right? The colonial mind, the colonized mind said the colonial master must have something great, you know. So we jump up, we get liberation. When I was in Tanzania years ago, they were sending their university tests to London to be corrected. I said, wait just a minute. I said, you mean you fought the British to get out from under colonialism, and now you've fallen in line with the educational system, and you send your university test to London to get corrected? I scratched my head all the time I was there. I couldn't understand it. I said, if you're trying to get away from somebody, you try to get all the way away from them. You don't fight somebody to get away from them and turn back around and invite him into your educational system and let him correct you, let him give you a degree, right? Let him certify you. You are a certified brother. You are a certified Tanzanian. No. Isn't that right? You don't do that. You get away from colonialism, you get all the way away from it. So all of us have been traumatized by this recent history. But now, if we go back to the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can, this continent is for Islam. We have it all here. You have the engineering, you have the technology, you have the know-how. We just have to work together. We have to elevate each other. We have to see ourselves as bigger, reach out for more, and reach higher. We have to see those others that we're with as being capable of having the ability. Islamic movement has to be, education has to be involved in it, and also business and trade. You don't want to see somebody poor and dependent all the time, is that right? So if you know how to teach somebody a certain aspect of trade, then that should be a part of the Islamic movement. And the last thing is, we won't do it without a structure. A big society like this has to have an organized Islamic movement. It can't be just a conglomeration of masajid all over with no focus and no direction. They have to be directed, isn't that right? An army, the resources of an army has to be focused against the enemy. They can't be focused around just their little shop, just their little store. No, it has to be focused. Why are we working? We're working to establish Allah's deen. Why am I studying? To learn more about the environment, to establish Allah's deen. Why am I praying? I'm praying so that I can come closer to what Allah wants me to know about Him, about His environment, about the Qiyamah, about all those, so I can be a better person. Islam is a training ground. Everything in it is training. Is that right? Getting up 5 times a day, that's training. That takes discipline. Is that right? Fasting during the month of Ramadan, that you learn self-restraint, self-control, self-discipline. Isn't that right? If you want to be good in sports, you've got to train for it. If you want to be good in business, you've got to train for it. If you want to have a good family life, you've got to work at it. It's not accidental. Isn't that right? You see a happy family, it's only a happy family. They just got lucky, no, they didn't. They have to work at it. Is that right? Because sometimes the wife says something the husband don't want to hear. So when you hear it, you got to be able to practice patience and draw the best out. Is that right? Sometimes the kids do something you don't like. Isn't that right? You got to say, now, I'm the same age. What was I doing when I was 12? Because, you know, when you get older, we get perfect. I never was like that. I always did what my parents told me. Of course, we forget, you know what I mean? But anyway, you got to remember, wait a minute, how was going through that change? Now, how can I help my child? How can I help this local? And miss some of the things that I've been. Make it easier, make it more. The only thing was different that they, the same kind, the same species. You know what? The only thing was different that they had elements of hope. They expected something good was going to happen. And that way they outperformed an animal over 37 times, really over 40 times, his natural ability because they had hope. What about the human being? With hope and high expectations, brothers and sisters, Africa can truly become an Islamic country. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just got one more minute. I want this person to say something. Listen.
We have amongst us a giant thinker, writer, and orator who has had a global impact in the Islamic movement, and I call upon Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui to speak tonight on creating a new civilization of Islam. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The organizers of this conference really decided to test me out. They put me as the last speaker on the first day after Imam Muhammad al-Asi and Imam abdul-Alim Musa, two of the greatest exponents of the art of public speaking that I have known in my time, and I have known a few. And therefore I have a hard act to follow. I will not even try to compete with the depth of knowledge of Imam Muhammad al-Asi, his total control over the Quran, over the knowledge of the Quran and its application to modern conditions. Because this is what our Imams are lacking today. They know the Quran, they read the Quran, they recite the Quran, but they cannot apply it to the conditions today. That is where Imam Muhammad al-Asi stands head and shoulder apart, and one and only person in the world today who does it with great work, with great style, and with great commitment. Imam abdul-Alim Musa is the man who has seen life from every possible angle. He has been on the angle of the blacksmith. He has been on the ship of the slave trader. And he has been on the jumbo jet of the modern Islamic movement activist. This man combines in him all that is good and all that is history and all that is Islam. He can make us see things that you and I might look at for a lifetime and never know we have looked at it and we have seen. How we have defined racialism today is something probably none of us has. We have all lived through racialism of a kind that only the people in this country have endured in honesty. And yet we know exactly what it meant. until we met Imam abdul-Alim. So with this galaxy of...
As-Sabiqun wa rahmatullah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله. الحمد لله أحمده واستعينه واستهديه واستغفره وأؤمن به جل وعلا ولا أكفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent Him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. This way of life known as Islam will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأوثاق الأولى كلمة التقوى وخير الملال ملة إبراهيم وخير سنن سنة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأشرف الحديث ذكر الله وأحسن القصاص هذا القرآن وخير الأمور أوزنوها وشير الأمور محدثاتها وأحسن الهدي هدي الأنبياء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأما الأمة ضلالة بعد الهدى وخير الأعمال ما نفع وخير الهادي ما أتباع وشير الأمة أما الكون. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said the most truthful of discourses is Kitabullah. The most trustworthy word is taqwa, or fear of Allah. The best of the community is the community of Prophet Ibrahim. The best way of life is the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The remembrance of Allah is the most glorious of all things. The best of all narrations is Quran. The best acts are those requiring the highest degree of will and determination. The worst acts are those based on innovation. The best way of life is the one adopted by the prophets of Allah. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most wretched blindness consists of going astray after finding the right way. Best acts are the ones that yield benefits. The best guidance is that which people may be able to follow. The worst blindness is the blindness of the heart. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'idukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Allah commands justice, doing of good, and liberality to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. فَمَنْ يُرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Those whom Allah in His plan willeth to guide, He opened their breasts to Islam. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in the state of Islam. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. اذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. And hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided amongst yourselves. And remember with gratitude Allah's favor on you. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. You are the best of peoples, evolved for mankind, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and believing in Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلوات من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله البعيد ذلكم خير إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلوات فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. O you believe, when the call is proclaimed on Friday, the day of assembly, hasten earnestly to the remembrance of Allah and leave off business and traffic. That is best for you if you but knew. And when the prayer is finished, then may you disperse through the land and seek the bounty of Allah and celebrate the praises of Allah often and without stint, that you may prosper. Dear believers, we had that video shown a little early. There are technically hundreds on ICT website, and there's probably 30 or 40 dealing with us personally. Then there's a whole other series on our own website that is writings, As-Sabiqun, the newsletter, newsprint of the Islamic movement. There's also quite a few DVDs and technically hundreds of CDs to listen to. All of them related to the Islamic movement. I wanted everybody to listen to what Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui had to say, so I could try to give you an understanding of what's really going on here and around the Muslim world, from what's really going on, not what's presented here. First of all, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was born in India before the partition. became a muhajir, went to Pakistan. Dr. Khalil Siddiqui is founder of the what we call in Arabic Majlis Ashura Islamiyya Free Britannica. That is the Majlis, we call it Muslim Parliament of Great Britain. It was a giant step for Muslims outside of the Muslim world. It's called a non-territorial government. It started in 1992 after the Salman Rushdie affair, if anybody remembers that. So the Muslim Parliament was a governing body in Great Britain for the activities of the Muslims, so that the Muslims, through this shura, a regular parliament, a regular Congress with all of the Muslims groups as a part of this consulted body. This is following the Quran. Amruhum shura bainahum. They are those who direct their affairs or manage their affairs by mutual consultation between each other. Amruhum shura bainahum. This is as strong as a Quranic injunction as you can get. Now, this non-territorial government was the first stab at Muslim independence in the West. Now, this is coming from Dr. Khalil Siddiqui. I don't know if y'all, I should have brought some of the stacks of books. But the first writing, the first dynamic writing that I became aware of was some writing that was distributed in Libya in 1974 at a conference, and it was dealing with nationalism in the decolonization process. What it dealt with was how the Muslims had been caught up after colonialism in nationalism. Because when the colonial empires left, when they came to us, we were generally Islamic empires, Islamic management, Uthmaniyya, the Ottoman Caliphate, which reigned for 500 years. Can you imagine? Then maybe the Safavids did a job down in Iran, the Mughal Empire, and India. Okay? After colonialism, they had destroyed all of our management systems. So when we became so-called liberated as Muslims, we adopted nationalism. And the colonial empires, as they left the country, they always supported nationalism. All of us were black men. Remember the civil rights, human rights, black nationalism, black liberation, then Islam. Okay, that's us in America. But around the world, everybody was steeped in nationalism in post-colonial times. Even though Pakistan in 1947 was developed to be an Islamic society, there was just nationalists with some Islamic, they call it Jum'ah Islamiyya, Pakistan. That's what they call it, but that don't mean Islam. It has nothing to do with a whole lot of Islam. Alhamdulillah, it's been creeping, but it has a lot of... Here's the point we're trying to make. This conference that you saw was about 21 years ago in Lodium, or Johannesburg in South Africa, creating the new global civilization of Islam. I forgot to bring all the paperwork, but it was an international event. And I'll show you next week. The Zionists and everybody came out against this worldwide group of people coming from all over the world to South Africa. At the time, South Africa has just liberated itself from colonialism. I mean, from the Boers, right? And I know you don't know it, but you can get an idea from what Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was saying. And I had to have you hear it from somebody other than me, because I'm telling you, you don't believe me. This was said here and it's said all over the world. Because certain people have certain gifts. Now, at all of our programs, whether we're in London, whether it was in Canada, some of them here, Sri Lanka, all over, this team of Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui is he's definitely our leader. All of his writing, Stages of Islamic Revolution, and all of those stacks of books about the folk, about issues of Islamic movement, all of those great writings was coming mainly from London, and it was coordinated. At that time, you would have to say we were the coordinators of Islamic movement worldwide. Now, what's going on here is, this is in April 1996. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui dies right after this. In fact, when you see him giving his speech, right, this one right here, he turns white as snow and rocks back and forth. He's ready, almost ready to go, and he catches himself, and this whole crowd is saying, they follow, you know what I mean? They're worried. Everybody knows he has heart trouble. The doctors told him, you go down there to South Africa, you're not coming back to London. That exact same thing happened. What we were doing, this forming a new global civilization of Islam. After this program, when I was getting ready to come back, and my wife, on the 16th of April, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui got in the car with us and went to the airport in Johannesburg. And he was laying out a whole lot of things. Now my wife, right down there, she heard every word of it. She was trying to ask me what it meant. I didn't tell her what it meant, because it wasn't none of her business. Because she was a part of the snitches group from Oakland. Now, you will understand in a minute when I finish. You know, ain't none of this new. It's so old it's ridiculous. So, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui and I had a special relationship. Everybody else on the pictures that I've shown you, Zafar Bangaj, Muhammad Al-Asi, all of those, all of the famous speakers from all over the world, many of them were leaders of Islamic movements. Hadia Wang and those people, Paz in Malaysia, Ikhwanis, everybody, but most of them were intellectuals. Now, just like in a concert, everybody got a special thing they do, right? Each group, right? My job in all of these conferences, under Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's guidance, was to come in and make sense out of everything that's going on and break all of that big fat words everybody's talking, disconnected, very good knowledge, but they don't serve no purpose. It was my job to come in. That's why I was, first they got Muhammad Al-Asi, then they got me, then they got Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui. Okay? That was our special relationship. There's one guy here in the region, the white guy out there, Esau, I think. He was at one of the conferences in London, and maybe 88 or 91. So Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui is telling me, we're counting on you. I said, take it easy, Doc. This is our relationship. I got it covered. But we got all of those people out there, and he didn't say it, but what he meant was, we're going to be spouting all of this jargon. You got to fix all that so everybody know what the hell we're talking about. And I would be saying, don't worry, Doc. I got it covered. That was my job. That's why you didn't hear the audience, but everywhere, all the time, I don't care who the big fat speaker was then and now. When we go to a program, we automatically figure out what's the purpose of this program. Who's there? As soon as you can walk in blindfolded and pull off the blindfold, that's the first thing I'm looking at. So where we are, we're in South Africa. 2 years post-apartheid. South Africa is the richest country in Africa, the most powerful, the best organized. Right? It's got the ANC there. Mr. Mandela is there, and he's on our side. He made a statement in London, whatever it was, he called it lies, big fat lies, because the Jews was trying to get this conference kicked out. I'll show you next week. I thought I had brought it, but I didn't. So what we're trying to do is, we have a powerful, wealthy Muslim population. Most of the people are African, but they have been people that their land had been taken over by others, and they didn't have skill to run their country. Like most colonial countries, right? After the colonials leave, you don't leave nothing but a few bums in there that can talk, but they can't manage affairs. So our job, as you heard it close, was to help South Africa become so organized, so developed, that Islam would not spread from the north to the south, that it would spread from the south to the north in Africa. And that was part of our goal. Now, as you heard Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui say, because what I'm going to say after this, a lot of it depends on your understanding of what he was saying. But you did hear him say what he said. All of the people that was part of this process that you see on the Al-Faqih guys, Muhammad al-Asi and all of them, heard what Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui said. So, when we went to the airport, he told me it verbally, clearly, and this came out in certain papers. He said there's a few people that got the concept, because he knew he was passing away. What the people didn't like is that you have a Negro being adopted by the chief. Clearly, you can see. Whatever else he said about other people, he didn't say the same thing. He's saying this nigga here has been on the cusp of history, because you got to remember, I know you take it for granted, but who in Africa, who in America, when they went to Africa and they had to find out what's going on, who there was living with Kwame Nkrumah's press secretary? You can see his name, Kofi Bashar, in Malcolm's book. What does he do? He teaches me about what's going on in Africa. Kwame Nkrumah, you know who Kwame Nkrumah was? The first president of liberated Africa, Ghana, 1957 and 1959, one of them, right? Who else in Cairo was spending time talking to the so-called elder of the nationalist movement in America? Shirley Du Bois was in Cairo. She was still alive in those days. All right? What I'm trying to tell you is, in America and nowhere else, there's nobody that have had the history going into Africa, right? Decolonization. See, in those days, when we was there, decolonization, half of Africa was liberated, the other half was still going away from decolonization, right? all the Portuguese colonies, Zimbabwe, all of them, Angola, all of them were still under colonialism. So we had the opportunity to study African liberation and the African liberation movement itself from Africa. And also the center of rebellion in the United States was Oakland, California. They would go on the internet and call somebody in Oakland, who they referred to yours truly as the mayor of Oakland. You know why? I hired more people and they live better than the people that had city jobs. Everybody who was with us had Cadillacs. Now, you know, that's like everybody having BMWs or Benzes. Not them little old T19. What's a good Benz? Big BMW, 7 something. Okay, everybody had them up. We didn't drive them little, like, we drove Eldorados and Brougham. That's all. And the old Eldorados, not them little T19, other than, but them long, low Eldorados. Bad Eldorados, drop tops. Some of them got them new ones, the old other Eldorados, little T19 thing. That's people that work for you. So we were not, and our main dope house on 73rd, the bowling alley is over here. The headquarters for the Black Panther Party on 73rd Avenue, East 14th, is right there. And you go down past Jerry's Pawn Shop, go through the alley, and that's our biggest dope house in East Oakland. So when you see those movies about the Black Panthers fighting against drugs, you know, the only problem we had is, y'all have heard a little bit about Black Mafia. But they had Martin Luther King, they had Malcolm X view, and then that was the Black Mafia view. That was us. Nobody knows about that except a few people. Those are the people that believe that America was founded under gangsterism, and if you want to be free, you're going to get it through gangsterism. You're not going to get it through walking in the street. You're going to get it through organization, power, and money. And our way worked better than anybody else's. We got more freedom and power than the King did. Right? I mean, Black Mafia. When we went to Algeria, everybody in Oakland knows we took the Black Panther Party, the money that it needed to get out. It was over there poor, broke, and crazy. So what I'm trying to do is give you a whole. Now, if you get tired of listening to this, just pray your Dua prayer and go on home. Because we're here today, we're right in the middle. Where we are, we're at Badr for our community. Badr was the first battle in Islam, the second year of the Hijrah in Ramadan. They call it the Ramadan War. They call it al-Furqan, right? The battle the day before, didn't nobody have no hope that Islam was going to survive. But after the Battle of Badr, hey man, people said, Muslims is here to stay. We have just finished our Badr here in the United States. We're going to explain to you what happened and where we intend to go. So, all the credentials that it takes, we have earned those, because nobody has done the things that we were involved in. And then the movement needs more money, right? How many Negroes you know, tell the truth, you didn't watch it on Scarface and all that, how many Negroes in the United States went to South America, right? Established the cocaine cartel and sent cocaine up here to Negroes. You know any? Absolutely not. Read all your comic books and everything. There was none. But it was us. And we did it, and it worked fine. And you can't be no fool doing that, can you? You got to have sense. You got to have map strategy. You got to understand the flow and the currents of everything in order to make sure it's produced correctly, shipped up to the United States, and distributed. You got to know what you're doing, right? You got to know what you're doing. You can't be no fool to do that. Then the next thing, why did we quit that? We quit that because of study. And you can't kill a few of the people with dope and save some more with the money. Because that money was all went back to Africa. There are people, you have seen them on these public broadcasting programs, Panther Africa. They have websites, you can type in and ask them, do you know Big Hank? Just ask them. What relationship did y'all have? I'm going to tell you what he would say. Been over there since those days. That's the only nigga ever supported us when we were down. There are all these big talking black niggas. I'm the black Google man, I'm the black Bitcoin, all the niggas let our brothers starve to death over in Africa with no help from nobody. But one nigga. Why? Because we have a special mission. You may have your mission, but your friendly white man has murdered, ran crazy most of my personal friends. You know, California, Soledad brothers, all them shootouts. 80% of it was personal homeboys. One of them was my best friend. So you can do what you want. I'm telling you, the greatest evolution that we ever made was to move from colorism, Negroism, to Islam. But Islam has in it all the elements of liberation of the person, of the society, and of the global liberation policy is all included in Islam. And that's where we are today. So now you got a little background. So when I crank up, just, if you get tired, just pray you do it like the brother, then head on out. Because this is a lot of lives involved in this, a lot of paths being crossed, and so we got a big job to do. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'd like to start by reading the real prologue. So Quran says, and who shun the more heinous sins and abomination, and who, whenever they are moved to anger, readily forgive. So you know that in 2009, strict policy was basically a policy of forgiveness, humor, kindness, optimism. That's our policy for a long time. So they readily forgive, who respond to the call of their sustainer and are constant in prayer, and whose rule in all matters of common concern is consultation amongst themselves, and who spend on others out of what we provide for them as sustenance. And who, whenever tyranny afflicts them, they defend themselves. Whenever you're tyrannized, you defend yourselves. Then Allah gives an exclamation, maybe a warning. But remember that an attempt at requiting evil may too become an evil. How many liberation parties, or as the old saying, revolutions devour its own children, right? So if you look after the Russian Revolution, when Stalin takes over, he kills everybody, right? During the Chinese Revolution, a few million people might have disappeared. In Korea, struggle there. The Black Revolution here, after a while, You almost didn't know who was who. You turn on the TV, Huey Newton is trying to calm down Eldridge Cleaver, and he's on the white man's television causing dissension and disunity. So you have to be careful. This is what we was telling the people of South Africa. That once you gain power, and we have learned this in every African country, everybody that gained power turned on their people, right? You heard of the great Mau Maus, right? When I was in East Africa, you know where most of the Mau Maus was? Jomo Kenyatta was in power, but the Mau Maus was highway robbers, out robbing, because what? The government turned against the people that made their greatest sacrifices. When them niggas take power. That's why the Quran is saying, when you attack, defend yourself from tyranny. But don't let your fight for freedom turn into the same thing that you was fighting against, which is crime. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit. Now, for what we're doing now and what we're getting ready to do, because we're going to call a lot of names of the fattest cats in some of the countries of the world right now that we've had personal relationship with. Allah loves not that evil should be noised abroad in public speech except where injustice has been done. For Allah is He who heareth and knoweth all things. Whether you publish a good deed or conceal it, or cover evil with pardon, verily Allah doth blot out sins and hath power in judgment of values. As we go along, anybody that's been here will know that we've been holding back, going a little bit forward and holding back on name calling, on pointing at these people, which we have in private meeting for decades, but they haven't responded properly. But you see that these very people that we struggle the hardest with, when Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui said this is the man we ought to be with, it's the same as Bilal, when the prophet passed away. You know, there's a hadith. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I heard footsteps ahead of me in paradise. And I looked up, who did he see? Anybody remember the hadith? It was Bilal. But a lot of people, it's not because of black or anything like that, but they did want to accept. Do you know how hard it is for these foreigners to outshine every last one of them? Every speech we give anywhere in the world, don't nobody even remember what they say. And when we go in, it's a custom. We tell the people the most critical and deadliest information, but we got them laughing. Because if you think about the information like it really is, man, the white man got everything. He got atomic bombs, he got this, that, he got this and everything. If you were to actually analyze that the way it really is, you wouldn't be wanting to fight, would you? 99% of the people would say, that's too tough. But if you humiliate your enemy, make people laugh at that crap. Yes. We got people rolling in the aisles today at this big old bad cracker that everybody is afraid of, or they was afraid of. So the Quran is saying, Allah loveth that evil should not be noised abroad in public speech unless of injustice. That's why we're talking today, and you'll understand why as we move ahead. Fighting is prescribed upon you, and you dislike it, but it is possible that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and that you love a thing which is bad for you, but Allah knoweth, and you know it not. They asked thee concerning fighting in the prohibited months, say, fighting therein is a grave offense, but graver is in the sight of Allah to prevent access to the path of Allah, to deny Him, to prevent access to the sacred mosque, and to drive out its members. Turmoil and oppression is worse than slaughter. Nor will they cease fighting you until they turn you back from your faith if they can. This is what we was heading at all the time. This is for our friends in Iran and everywhere else. They ain't gonna stop fighting you. I don't care how much boots you lick, how many behinds you kiss, they ain't gonna do that. Okay. Why do we know what we're dealing with? When all the fitna was happening in Oakland, people throwing guns, people doing this, people doing that, right? Our brothers are controlling Crescent International. They could send that message all over. They didn't do that. Here's what they put. Muslim religious rights denied for 32 years in Washington, D.C. Do you know anything about this big rebellion going on in Washington, D.C.? What was it in the first place? It was a dirty trick played on the Negro Islamic movement in Washington, D.C. Before, it was little mosques all over D.C. Does anybody remember that? Yes. And they were not no sissified masajid like you got now. Niggas sitting up in these mosques now will not bust, have not, and have no intention of busting. We say, a grape, right? Well, they haven't been since I've been here. They quiet as church house mice. I don't care how many Muslims you bomb, blow up, cut their heads, hang them upside down. They ain't got nothing to say about it. Nothing, right? That ain't us. So, what did they do? They claim to have taken over the Islamic Center. Then they went around to all the Negroes and said, you close your masjid, the brothers are in charge, right over there. They closed down the Negro centers, all in the Negro area. In those days, D.C. was 80% black, so wherever you went, there was Negroes there. I'm telling you, I don't know how long it was, but after everybody got settled in on that plush carpet and the decor and the artwork, they kicked the niggas out. Yes, they did. They kicked their behind out. And guess what? Now, they're a little older, and they don't have the punch to go and reestablish the masajid, right? So everybody migrated over to that way, northwest. I'm not going to mention the place, but when I used to go there, people would come out mad that George Bush might have invaded Iraq in '91. And the Imam was saying, George Bush is an honorable man. And people be cussing in this Khutbah. And I was standing there one day, and the brother was praying like this. I mean, he could have been Maliki, he could have been Shia. Somebody grabbed this hand, put it up here, and the other hand put it up there. The brother said, grabbed his hand. I thought they was getting ready to fight. I said, boy, this is the crazy house here. So that was a government policy to break the back of Islam in Washington, D.C., and they did it. And at that same place, when we had a unified program, the people didn't even know what it was. Over in Masjid Muhammad, we had a unified itikaf. We're going to stay in the masjid the whole weekend. They said, well, what are you going to do? We had speakers, boy, it went so fast, they didn't believe it could be done. forming unity. The minute we form that type of unity, here come the Salafis talking about Imam Muhammad Muhammad. They both on the same team. Now we can't have no unity. I didn't say a word. If it was now, I'd say, you niggas is crazy. That don't have nothing. If y'all can't get along, go on outside somewhere. We stand in here and have unity. That's what I'd say now. I didn't say it then. For a reason. It's called delay. It's called time. So, why didn't our friends that I'm on the board of everything, they say, write the articles, tell the world about poor Imam Musa, the immigrants trying to take over the Masjid in Oakland, people drawing guns, the government that gave Negroes the ability to go in bank accounts. We'll get all our money back, once it's just illegal. But we'll deal with it when we get ready. And take our money. One of the Negroes, same Negro, just took some paperwork and sold the property to the police. And we'll see the police directing him to do it. Now, we're going to get to what we've been talking about all along. So bear with us a little. Okay. So this is our body right here, the Ramadan war. We got a lot to do in the society in which we're in because a few things have happened. Over in Iran, Rafsanjani passed away. Rouhani just won the big presidency. Javad Zarif is probably the most popular foreign minister probably in the world. He's the one who hooked up the treaty with, what's his name, Kerry now. Saudi Arabia is in disarray. What we have to do is explain the behavior in the history of everybody that's involved in this process right now. And I can deal with Muhammad al-Asi for a minute. Muhammad al-Asi has been for over 35, 36, 37 years a spokesman for, let's call it the Iranian contingent here in America. Muhammad al-Asi is the representative of Jum'ah al-Taqrib. That's the big organization for the unity of and cooperation of the Madahib. Comes out of Iran. It's a big global organization. I'm also a member of that organization. But all the communication and all of it goes through Muhammad al-Asi. All the big conferences in Iran and everywhere else, all the communication and all the hookups and all that goes through Zafar Bangash in Canada and Muhammad al-Asi. You might say, why you let it go like that? Because you have to give everybody time and to do what they want to do. Okay. Y'all probably don't remember Dr. Karazi, the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic of Iran before Zarif. All of these people that we're talking about are part of one clique. All of them. There is a worldwide clique of Muslims that first came under the purview of Dr. Khalim Siddiqui. He was the leader of the movement. Dr. Khalim Siddiqui, as you could hear, was pro-Imam Musa. He's getting ready to die. All right. But there's something traditional about all of this. If Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui is a good leader, then everybody around him is the police. Except me, of course. That's the way it is. Ain't nothing to do about it. Look at Imam Jamil. What happened to Imam Jamil? When he went to jail, what did the community do? Nothing. You know what Imam Muhammad said in 1976? I was sitting right there. He said, y'all ain't with me, talking about you with the chief. He said, if the white man come get me tomorrow, y'all won't do nothing. That's what he said. Then, just before he passed away, in fact he did it twice, in 87, then a few years before he passed, he looked around and pointed at the imams on the podium. He said, these guys not with me, they're with themselves. All the big shots, one brother, do you know Imam Fahim? I said, sure, I know him. Do you know him? I said, I know all of them. I didn't say them niggas. But when I was in the community, I tried to work for Imam Warid Muhammad. Them niggas got in the way. Why? Because they're the police. They were the police then, they're the police now. That's why I have nothing happening. That's why the community had the best potential in the United States to solidify Islamic movement in America. But when Imam Warid Muhammad saw what he was up against, he settled for what he did. He did a great job. He did a great job of changing from that Wallace Muhammad God to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can't nobody take that away. But he could have did more. He could have been bigger. But he wasn't raised like that. Guess what? It just wasn't his mission. That's all. It wasn't his mission. He didn't feel it. If you don't feel it in your heart, don't mess with it. So, as we say, the whole Islamic movement, not the whole Islamic movement, but much of the Islamic movement, we recognize that Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was a good leader. Therefore, according to what's normal, all the people around him are going to be the police. So that everybody that goes to you, right, everybody you send, is going to be the police. That's the way it is. I'm just explaining to you how it goes. Whether you like it or believe it, it don't make a difference. The people are going to hear all of this for the 50,000th time on the video. Because that's what's our goal, is to teach people that under all odds it is possible and it is time to rise to the occasion of our time. And since nobody else is doing it, then we got to do it. Now I'm going to just read you a little something. You think all this is made up. This is from one of the notes that I have. This is 4/26/87 and 4/27/87. But at the bottom I crossed this out. Poor George pulled me out. Woman, back window, attempt to steal victory. Then it says right here, thank God for stupid enemies. It is impossible to trivialize one string of victories after another. I look forward to many more years of growth. We will wear them down in groups. They will continue to feel ashamed and bewildered every time they discuss the matter it will remind them of their defeat, inferiority, and confusion. Sheer numbers and coordination demonstrate their frustration. That means this is 87. This is probably about our 6th or 7th victory. We didn't whoop, say, the combined forces of evil. This is an open. We whip them just like we do here. You don't see it because you're not here. Or you don't pay no attention to what we said. Well, nor do you go around and research. What did that nigga say? And research it and put all the stuff together and say, well, I don't believe it. Since you don't do that, I'm forced to sit here and tell you for hours and hours. Okay, so this is in 87. One of the things I have to do right now is reach out to the original Iranian Islamic movement in North America. I'm saying from about 1980, there were still students here. We were all, look here, if you want to talk about a heyday of struggle here in America, it outshines the Negro struggle. Because these were all young guys. They come from overseas. They were infiltrated, but still, that's all right. They just had a revolution in Iran. They were surrounded by snitches here in America. I don't know nobody, except myself, of course, that wasn't a tattletale that was hanging around with Iranians. When I came to this city, the first thing I asked, who was the people that worked down at the embassy with Iranians? They told me the names, so I knew what was happening. Don't make no difference who they was. I didn't know. They said, oh, you're a nice guy. I didn't know where to go. You had a job over there. What was your job? To keep your eye on, to smell, and to watch. That's the way it goes. We didn't learn that, see, because the game we come up in, you can't make no slips. If you're on an intellectual vibe, talking on stage, you can slip all you want. All you do is get a check by your name. But in the game we playing, if you make a mistake, you are gone goodbye. So our relationship, let's say, with us and Iranians move like this. Let's take the 7th of Tier. 7th of Tier is about June 21st, somewhere like that, 1981. Right at a revolution in 79. First president is a Munafiq. He runs off to Bani Sa, to Paris. Next president, good president, they got Rajai, Muhammad Rajai, good man. Javad Bahonar. And the great constitutional writer, Muhammad Beheshti, Dr. Beheshti. On the 7th of Tier, the 72 new parliamentarians are all blown up in one day. That's like after they assassinated everybody else. Mutahari, all these people, assassinations was daily, every day. The Munafiq, same people that cause a problem for Iran right now. They said these Iranian guys did such and such. We call them Munafiqeen Qar. They call themselves Mujahideen Qar. Semi-communist like. But anyway, a few days later, after the 72 martyrs are blown up, the president and the prime minister, Bahonar, Muhammad Ali Rajai, are killed, and all this is happening one day after the next. You have seen nothing in history that saw that level of struggle and that level of stickability. the Shias got us saying, well, what they began to say was Iran has become Karbala. That's what Imam was saying. And every day is Ashura. That type of stickability. Now don't forget that it happens to be a war going on. That poison gas is being used on Iranians. It ain't no big deal. What I'm doing right now, I'm reaching out to those brothers, because there's two groups. One group right now, all of them so-called, one of them, the biggest minister, you see him on TV every day. Every time he's somewhere, he said, "This is my friend." I said, "I wish he'd stop saying that." Because in the dunya, when somebody say that, they do something to you, usually. They'll steal your money. So I said, "Oh man." That's Javad Zarif. When you see the big ministers from Iran, his dead giveaway was this. One time, it's about 85, 86, maybe 87, when he's working in the UN mission in New York, the assistant. The white man loosened up his left back wheel, and it came off while he was driving. It was 87. You know why I remember? Because of what he said. He said, "My wheel came off, and my children could have been in the car." That sounds normal to you, isn't it? My back wheel came off too. I had a little Fiat. See, if they loosen the lugs in the back and the front, you can hear it, feel it when you drive. But the back wheel, you don't feel it. I'm driving, in fact, I'm going to see the chief. And all of a sudden, my car leans a little bit, and I hit the brake, and I see a wheel go right past. I said, "Well, dog, that looks like my wheel." All I did was jack it up, put it back on, took a lug off every other wheel, one lug, put it on there, and I went on about my business. But he said, suppose, this is normal, my children, the same thing one of the big fat cats said downtown, when something happened, my children, well, get your ass out of the doggone revolution. You can't say that. They're killing Palestinians. Your children ain't no better than mine. The police that ran my kids crazy and everything else. Turn them into dope fiends. We're going to get back at them. That's why we're going to fight until we die. Right? You can't say, my children. What the hell about everybody else's children? They're killing Palestinian children, Bangladeshi children, Rohingya children. They're killing people all over the world. If you're going to be a part of the movement, you can't be hollering about my mama, my dear little children. You can't put them first. You cannot put them first. And every one of them Iranians, on the bad side, put their children before the movement. To them, they wasn't saying nothing wrong. But to me, you got to watch that guy. There's something wrong with the brother. And it came out right. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm reaching out to one group. We were all together in the early years. Death to America. Police chasing everybody, FBI infiltrating, causing all kind of fitna on a daily basis. Right? When y'all in Iran hear this, or any of you look, tell the brothers that Imam Musa is over here, left by everybody, to fight everybody by his own black self. Yes, he is. Tell him he's over there by himself in America. Don't mind. Best job in the world. Ain't no job better. You see what it said in 87. I look forward to more of this. And no matter what numbers they had then, it's 87. Man, that's 30 years ago. that you enjoy it. Don't never think that I don't enjoy it. This is the best job you can have in the world. You get a chance to stand up for truth. You may see the total collapse of the monster. Forget about what they did to your grandmama and great-grandmama there. Whooping them and running around the cotton patch. Right? Forget about all that. Just think about it now. What's the Negro condition? Right? In America. The Muslims, if you're from Saudi Arabia, right? Or one of them bootlicking countries, you can kill Muslims all day long, and they'll sell you the weapons, and if you ain't got no money, a fool like Saudi Arabia, can you imagine a fool like that? He'll spend all of its money to cause trouble in the Muslim world. Remember the old days of the Salafis here? The bid'ah man, this is bid'ah, that's bid'ah. All of that. Remember that? That was Saudi money. Remember all the poor brothers in the penitentiary reading all of them Saudi books from Dar Islam Press? Do they come out of prison like in the old days ready to help the movement? No. They come out of the penitentiary or they sit up in the penitentiary talking about you ain't did this and you ain't did that. And I went to one place over there in Maryland. Y'all know the name. It's right over in Maryland. Oh, 116. What's some of the joints right over there? If somebody come,
Yes, sir.
not Jessup, that's just a federal penitentiary. Anyway, it's not far. I went over there and I was talking. And the Negro reading all of the Saudi books says, where's Allah? I said, that's a good question. I didn't answer him because he sounded kind of crazy to me. He said, Allah is on the throne. This throne is over the waters. How's that? I said, so, is that figuratively? You know, I had to kursi, we understand that. But you mean there's a big giant Allah? Body sitting on a big giant throne over Atlantic Ocean or maybe Pacific? That would be the Pacific, because that's the biggest ocean. Is that what you're saying? Astaghfirullah. I said, I'm talking about what you're saying. You said Allah is on the throne. You didn't say nothing about the great power and majesty of Allah is reigning like a throne over the universe. You didn't say that. You said God, Allah is sitting on a throne and his throne is over the water. Now what did I just say? So I said, I know where Allah is. I know. I say, Allah is right here in my neck. Astaghfirullah. I said, the Quran say Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. Don't it say that? Has anybody ever read that? Well, astaghfirullah. I said, no. You're going to take the Quran not figuratively. Some of it is exactly in words. Some of it is mutashabihat. Some of it is allegorical. Right? Some of it is allegorical. It's not like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of it is exactly 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not take riba. Do not take alcohol. Right? There's no ambiguous part of that. And I said, since you following Ben Baz, Ben Baz was a sheikh. I said, you know what Allah say about people like Ben Baz? What do you say? He's a good man. He's a big sheikh. I say, the Quran said those that are blind in this world are going to be blind in the hereafter. I said, Sheikh Ben Baz is blind. Oh Lord, that don't mean he can't see the spirit. I said, but no. Try to weasel out of it. You said you was was going by the actual word for word, and the Quran in Surah Al-Imam gives you some basics, right? Some of the Quran is basic, fundamental, right? Some of it, but it says that's al-Kitab, the mother of the book. So some of it is allegorical, right? Y'all remember ayat 7, maybe something. Al-Imam. Those whose hearts is a disease, you got a disease, follow that part which is allegorical. Like when we was in the Nation of Islam, we used to read Maulana Muhammad Ali's translation. His translation would say, the blue-eyed evil ones. Something like that. So they would say, see, that's the blue-eyed devil. No, it was talking about glaucoma, those who are such and such, they have a blue-eye impediment. They can't see the truth. So the Negro that have a disease or try to insinuate into the Quran, into life, and into everything else his own distorted view. Now let's get back to this war again. The reason I'm reaching out to the Iranian brothers who went back to Iran is because we still have friends amongst us. Out of those brothers, there are two groups. One that kind of, as you get older, you become more modest and what have you. And there's others who are part of the principles over there. That means that they stick to al-Faqih. That means like Imam Khomeini in those days of Rahmah. The principles followed is, well, what saved Iran in this great struggle? It's Allah, number one. You can't have that many enemies and survive unless Allah on the side. Then, al-Faqih, the leaders. If you look at Afghanistan, you look at Iran, you look at Iraq, Afghanis fight like mad. They're not no cowards. And Afghanis was fighting the Russians. They killed, in those days, in 10 years, the Russians killed 10% of the population, 1.6 million people, and there was only 16 million people in Afghanistan. Them Soviet help, and the Afghans still fight. So they're not cowards. Well, what happened? The U.S. gave one group a little bit when he got up. The U.S. gave another group a little bit, gave this little group. When the war was over with Russia, the groups is equal. No dominant force, so they fight against each other. They knew Afghans don't do it. But if they had, like in Iran, a dominant leader, everybody said, well, we'll go with him. They did it on purpose. These people are so nasty and filthy. They study everything about you to see how can we break the back of them niggas. How can we break them Indians? Oh, Indians go crazy with alcohol. Good. You can have all the alcohol you want, isn't that right? And guns that won't shoot straight. Right? This man not only kill you, then he'd give the Indians blankets with smallpox, so they don't know what smallpox is. You think that guy is going to be friendly to you? Okay, let me speed up, because I got to put a whole lot together. So what happened was, after the revolution, the careerists, those that were part of the struggle for a career, you could see the shift taking place. Some of the brothers who was here, they came to get education, to go back home and teach the people. They have done a marvelous job. They don't get paid much money, right? The U.S. offered them jobs, stay here, you get twice, 3 times, 4 times the money. But they went back home. They went back home and they had to face people that didn't trust him. Because if you've been in America, ain't nobody in Iran going to trust you. And one of my brothers asked me, good brother, good friend of mine, to the day, he asked me, what should you do? He says, we have the expertise and the knowledge, but the other guy is part of their crew. He don't know nothing, but they trust him, and they don't trust us. This is the big problem of all movements. After liberation, don't nobody trust nobody but the people that was in their crew. It's ANC, it's anybody. It's Equani's, everybody. All right. So, that's the problem that happened in Iran. You said, why should we talk about, when we talk about Iran, we're talking about the global situation. Now remember what we talked about some months ago. No, some years ago. Number one, there will be no Arab Spring. There's going to be 5 stages which the world is going to go through, the Islamic world. And number 4 and 5 would be, 4 would be a regional vision, and number 5 would be the final victory. Okay, if you look in the Middle East, we gave this the Libya demonstration, 2011. There's no reason for a regional vision, but it is now. Why? Because Saudi Arabia is attacking Yemen, the people in Bahrain are being squeezed, right? Iraq is trying to make a little comeback. Syria is under attack, right? Syria is under attack. So you can't solve just one problem. You got to solve the whole region's problem. Who's been attacked and bombed during all of this time? It's the Shias mostly, right? Why? Because Saudi Arabia has paid the salaries of all the fitna that you see around the world, whether it's in Pakistan, whether it's in Afghanistan, right? Whether it's in the U.S. Do you notice these handkerchief-headed Muslims here in America? They never have to hustle no money. They got stacks of books. The Imam don't work half the time. If they set up a place around the corner from us, you don't have to worry. They're going to have it made in the shade. Isn't that right? Why? Because Saudi Arabia is going to pay for their well-being. So we have to fight the United States government. We have to fight the Zionists. We have to fight Saudi Arabia, and all of them are together against us because we're sticking to our so-called principles. All right. Where does Iran come in all this? Well, just a few things. When you watch press TV, you'll see ladies like Marzia Hashim, the African American. She took Shahada in our Masjid in '82 in Denver. Y'all remember the great movie about Isa alayhi salam that they brought here? The Iranian guy else did. About Isa alayhi salam. All of those people are friends of mine. But all of them are on the same team against what we're trying to do. Why? Because the government ministries, especially the foreign ministry, has been taken over by careerists. And when you see Javad Zarif at the top, when you see Rouhani as the president, we said we're going to put a stop to this. Why? Because Rafsanjani is dead. If we don't get this thing stopped now, Rouhani will be able to get as slick as Rafsanjani was. He's the one that organized this whole cabal against what the Islamic Republic stood for. And all the money and all the wealth that comes from anywhere goes to the people who are on those teams right now in America. That's what we have to deal with. So we're telling all the world, remember all of our great days of struggle. We need your help. It's going overseas. We need your support because we have to stop. Let me put it this way. Remember how I was #1 guy on all Iranian programs all over the world? What's been happening the last 15 years? When I go to Iran, what do? Why am I sequestered, almost kidnapped, and kept over in the north? Supposedly I don't know the protection or whatever. Why I don't appear on the programs no more, but I'm brought there so that we don't get a chance to affect the new Muslims at all, and that it's a coordinated plot by all of these people involved to break the back of Islam. They are all in cooperation with the United States. These big shots they told me several years ago, Imam Musa, we're going to support you if you will open up an institute in America. So we don't need no institute. So what kind of institute? Well, where you have a couple of master's degrees people, a PhD, and they will monitor and put out white papers. I said, we don't need that. You know what they was trying to do? What they did to Dr. Al-Siddiqi's organization. You got to look at how dirty this trick is. The Masjid Ashura Islamiyya Free Britannica, Muslim Parliament of Great Britain, a functional policy-making body, a non-territorial government in the West. They destroy that and then they take it back 10 years to a thought conference. Thought is what we did in the 1970s and 1980s. Well, we don't need no thought. We don't have to think about who's the enemies of Islam. We don't need, do you need to read a paper on who's killing the Muslims? Right? Do you need to go get a study? So that's what they wanted me. So after a couple of years, I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I got it. So I took a building on 8th Street and then the one and fixed the place up in Oakland. Big sign, Islamic Institute for Counter Zionist American Psychological Warfare. Everybody went crazy. Read the Zionist websites. Strategic brilliance. You know why? At our program, we'd have a little dinner. Remember, we'd have 10, 20 people there. One of them snitched. Same thing in California. We would see our flyer, well done. And the terrorist network cohort, it'd be all of these Zionists would put our name and our whole flyer on their website. And their website, thousands of people would be clicking up our flyer. Thousands, but not thousands, hundreds of thousands. This is supreme strategic brilliance. And since a Negro do it, they go right past it. We couldn't reach out to 20 people if it killed us. So we run our mouth right in front of them. They take what we're saying and put it on their website like it's bad. But actually it's good. So we don't have no means to fight against them. So the greatest strategic brilliance is when you get the enemy to use its weapons against itself. Tell the truth, that's pretty good. It's easy, it was easy then. Because you could play color on it, you know what I mean? Every now and then when you want to whoop them real bad, you'll just shuffle around. Old moves, old stepping stuff. It's fun. See, when you fight this white man, he's so mean, you can't be serious. If you're serious, you just quit. Or you become so doggone mean, like him. Because the man is mean. He's meaner than anything you can imagine. He makes Shaitan look like a real... Shaitan is nice compared to the white man. Yes, he is. The lamb was right about the white man. Just a little whisper of the white man's the devil. Of course, technically, we don't believe that. Boy, but he try to make you a believer that it's true, don't he? He stay up day and night trying to prove that he's the meanest joker and the devilishest joker in the world. So I told him, I said, okay, I got those institutes open. They knew what I did. And they had promised, this non-profit type NGO, tons of money. We just looked the other way. I ain't seen nothing. Why? Because people cannot control it. They don't like it. I'm saying to you and I, follow your own heart, follow your own experience, and you'll do great things. You'll do great things. Right? Don't let people push you around, and don't let them threaten you with poverty. You ain't gonna have no money. You ain't gonna have no friends. I don't know if the white man killed all of my friends. Yeah, he would just kill them. So they was telling me, what about your children? You know this old ugly lady. They come on the thing, call Imam Musa, the fake Imam and stuff. This one video, I ain't heard from them since. Because they was trying to pretend like, oh, Imam Musa is just somebody talking in the wind. But there's a whole series of videos that say, this is who this man is. That's why they're fighting against us. Because, very simple, re-Africanization of the Islamic movement in North America. Very deadly. Okay. Little things that you might not have paid attention to. I'm sorry, but I got to keep you a few more minutes. Y'all heard of the hostage crisis, right? And people can't figure out what the... Why are people that was involved in the hostage crisis, vice presidents and all that, so pro-Western right now for the last 10 years? You know, there was one student leader that was against the hostage crisis. You know who it was? Ahmadinejad. Why everybody hate him if he was against the hostage crisis, right? Now I want y'all to remember. Why did the Secretary of State or Secretary of whoever he was, McFarlane in 1987 flew to Iran without invitation or without anything, right in the middle of the highest Hate America campaign. Why did he go there? With 2 Coke 45s and a cake. Imam Khomeini said, this guy come here, he said the boys that was on security ate the cake. You know, the young pastor, he said they had it in the cake. They looked at it and said, let's give it a try. And they ate up the cake. He said, Father, listen, why was McFarlane there? You ever heard of October Surprise? Anybody heard of October Surprise? October Surprise is that if the election is in November, they always try to come out with something that would damage the guy that has the best chance of winning. So the Republicans worked and initiated the hostage crisis in Iran. And to keep it going, well, I ask you this, when did they let the hostages go? The day Carter left office, right? Why did they keep them all that time? It's because the Republicans was working with the Iranian handkerchief heads, right? To make sure Carter would get kicked out. And it worked like a charm. But that means that the Republicans owe the Iranians. Now skip a few years ahead of time. The war has been going on. America has been helping the Iraqis and anybody else fighting Iran. Iran is cut off and it is really in bad shape. So the leaders in Iran that helped the U.S. get in, Reagan is in there. They're telling them, hey man, we're going to blow this off. Y'all made a deal with us and now you mess it up. That's why my father flew over there and was talking to Karubi, old guy. Now Karubi was head of the parliament, Karubi was head of the Mustafa Foundation. I'll talk about that later. But one day I was in Iran driving down the street and I saw Karubi in the back of a BMW. He had his turban like this. And I said, that's what we used to ride in the Broham. That nigga ain't no good. And it was true. All I had to do was he ride like us. Must be like us. His attitude, his look. What happened? The October surprise was to make Iran hated in the world and to destroy any possibility of President Carter winning the election. When it came time to pay up, you will see some very strange things happen in the 80s where it benefits Iran. Because Saddam is attacked, right, by America in the 90s. Why? Why did do that? Who benefited? Do you notice that everything that's happened over there has benefited Iran? And now this clown comes to break that. We don't owe you nothing. That's what this whole anti-Republican. We don't owe Iranians nothing. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Right? But thank God, just like what it says right here, thank God for idiots. His enemies. Let me see what it says. It's impossible to trivialize one string of victories after another. I look forward to many more years of growth. We will wear them down in groups. They will continue to feel ashamed and bewildered every time they discuss the matter and remind them of their defeat and inferiority and confusion. Sheer numbers and coordination demonstrate their frustration. The other thing says, it is good for your head is. Thank God for stupid enemies. That's what Don is, right? If you didn't believe that America was going down, I bet you believe it now, don't you? Tell the truth. Who's a holdout now? America will stand tall. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Come on. You so bad. Thank you. So, I'm moved toward a close. Iranian institutions in America are in the hands of counter-revolutionary apologists. That's what I'm saying to the brothers in Iran. Remember you security forces in 1989 when I talked to y'all about America? All that's come true. You've got to look at Zarif. You've got to look at the whole foreign ministry. I'll give you an example. At the UN last year, we were sitting by the elevator. The old guy from out there at Adams was there, the Bangladeshi brother, the vice president. Everybody that came down the elevator, we were sitting by the elevator. Imam Musa that came from Rouhani was the president of Iran. Imam Musa, I haven't seen you in 34 years. Good old friend. I know every one of them guys. Though none of them help us do nothing. They all turn our back on us. And look, when we needed them most, if we needed any help, which we usually don't, we didn't train our fight that we don't, technically, we're going to fight whether we get help or not. So far, we haven't had none. We've had Allah's help. We ain't had no Negroes help us in the last 37, 38 years. That I can remember. Maybe some of them did, but I don't know that help in this fight. So we want you brothers to form a Imam Musa support network. Just think about the old days when we traveled all over America and we fought against the United States, the Zionists, and all by ourselves. And remember all the Negroes that was all around y'all trying to set you up. Remember LA in '84, the Cooch demonstration, when the police was marching on Wilshire Boulevard, 8 deep, and on the street on the other side, they was marching 4 deep. And the Negro phony Shias from Oakland went down to join the phony Shias, Negro Shias, in LA. And they tried to start a fight with the police, and we kept them from starting the fight because they was there and they wanted to break our necks. Y'all remember that? Think about it, 84. I ain't never seen police marching in military style like that in my life. 8 deep down Wilshire Boulevard. Not 4 deep, 8 deep. Batons, everything. And they had the Negroes to start a fight with the police, the LA police. You know, Rodney King police. The most deadly police in the world. Somebody said they're better now. I can't believe it. Because I felt like a dictatorship in LA. And we blocked that. Like we blocked everything else. Remember all of our meetings and the Negroes coming there trying to talk gangster talk to set you up so you'd go out and do something illegal and they could bust your head wide open and take you to the penitentiary for terrorism, right? Remember what it was? You used to ask us, how do you know they're not any good? I said, hell, because we're all niggas in at the meeting, they say, we got to figure out how to get this money from these Iranians. And first they talked freely because they thought, well, we all niggas, so we don't all work against them. Our third or fourth big national meeting, international meeting, they stopped talking around me. Why? Because I said, no, we're not doing nothing like that. We're all Muslims here. So all the Negroes, especially the LA Negroes, some of the Texas Negroes, the Iranians here were 100% surrounded. Just like Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was surrounded. Just like your poor Imam Musa is surrounded. Only thing about me is, dear brothers and sisters, I done learned to adjust to it, and I like it. And we're successful. Okay. One of the things that's going on, this is for the Shia community especially. Allah gives people sometimes a special gift because of their oppression. Like African Americans was given a special gift during Malcolm time, Martin Luther King time, to lead the global movement for freedom and liberation. Let's call it that. Martin Luther King is popular as any liberation leader in the world. And Malcolm X. That was a special gift for us, for all of what we went through. So when we spoke to the world, whether it's the Irish, right? Whether it's the African, they're all related to us, right? Okay, now, because of the oppression, you look at who's getting most of the bombings, most of the killings. In the Muslim world today, is Saudi Arabia spending money with Daesh and others to bomb and kill Shias in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and in Bahrain and all over the world, right? Now, they all responded nonviolent right now, today. So Allah had engineered them into a position, right? Because of the oppression, not because of the madhab and how great, no, I don't do it. It's because of the oppression. And it's because of the engineering, Allah engineering the events. Now, what these Uncle Toms, what the Zionists and Americans are trying to do is to do the same thing they did to us. They want to do it to them. What was that? They stole your birthright. Yes, they did. They stole your birthright. Remember the old Islamic movements? I don't care who you're talking. Even Imam Wajid Muhammad listened to his lecture in Philadelphia in '76. Listen to that. Remaking the world. Anybody remember that? Remaking the world in '76, right? He wanted to remake the world, but his only problem is he had a lot of niggas. Other than that, it was a great idea. Other than niggas, it's the greatest idea. He tried to remake the world with niggas. You might think I don't like niggas, but I love niggas. No matter how many times, they'd have cut my throat so many times, I'm immune to throat cutting. That's your job. At a time in history, you have to take the people from the Quran that was considered of no account. Remember that? These people that are considered of no account, that Allah want to put them in a position of imamate, leadership. That's the way the Shias are over there, and that's the way you and I are here. The world needs a strong Muslim body. I'm going to move the water close, but we didn't forget what the world needs. They done made us so scary that we don't want to do dawah anymore. We don't want to, just when America needs Islam and they know they need something like Islam, we are afraid or ashamed to offer Americans Islam. Now, remember the last talks about we want to reach out to the white folks in Virginia and West Virginia on opiates and all of that because we didn't have experience. Remember that? I was reading right from the white folks. When I say white folks, I don't mean anything negative at all. Study. Death rates stay up for U.S. working class whites. That's what they say. That's March 23rd. After we started talking about it, a whole lot of statistics now come out and say, oh, it ain't just white folks. Everybody dying from opiates and all of that. You know why? Because they don't want us to relate to the world. But that's what Islam done made us, is humans that relate to everybody that have problems. And if we know something about opiates and heroin addiction, causes and killed all our brothers and cousins and run everybody into the poorhouse, right? Then we could go to the white folks and tell them, Mr. White Man, from 30 to 54 years old, you are the target of the other white folks. The target. They don't know they're the target. Why they're the target? They're just like me and you in the 60s. Young, healthy, ready to fight for truth, right? Okay, with no jobs and all of that. So we got to kill them niggas. We got to send them to the penitentiary, right? And we got to dope them up and run them crazy and break up their family. You can get welfare as long as there ain't no man in the house. Isn't that right? everything was targeted at the black man, right? They have no more use for us. Automation has come along, they don't need you anymore. There ain't nobody picking hand cotton no more. You're not needed. The white man used to be the hero. From 30 to 50 years old was the hero of America. Isn't that right? Every movie, he was the hero. He was in demand. He saved the day. Whatever it was, that white man could do it. Isn't that right? Now they don't have a job for him. Girls is the heroes in most of the movies, right? They turn their flips, jumping up and down, Star Wars and everybody to death, right? And the winning white girl get a nigga, have him as their friend. What about the poor white man? He's not needed. We don't have no job for the crackers, especially in West Virginia, coal mining and all that. We don't have no work for you, and you got a problem. You got guns, you know how to use them, and you are mad. So you believe the Constitution, the Second Amendment means that the right to bear arms is not against your neighbor, but the government. Isn't that right? Tell the truth. Everybody know that. It's not bear arms against your neighbor. It's against tyranny. Isn't that right? Who can tyrannize you? Why, the government. Right? So now, the white man, we don't get there and tell them they're going to almost be wiped out another 2-3 years. Hey man, I didn't believe the numbers. They say white men are dropping like flies. More, 3 and 4 and 5 times as many Negroes are dying the whole deal. Because now, they get rid of it in a hurry. In the old days, you just had good old heroin, right? Now they got fentanyl, methanol. They got some stuff they were saying that's 1,000 times as strong as heroin. Well, 100 times. How do you cut that? Just think about it. Think about how dangerous that is. It's 100 times. Now the best heroin you got, you could cut it 20 times, China white. The best Mexican heroin you can cut 16 times. That is 5% because 86% is the best heroin you can get, brown heroin. I like brown sugar and white sugar, purification, 86%. So if it's 5% on the street, if you got 86% heroin, you can cut it 17 times. Don't cut it 16 times. If you have pure China white, 100% heroin, 98.6. Then you can cut it 20 times, just like $1 in nickels. 20 nickels in $1, right? Don't cut it 19 times. But what about something that's 100 or 200 times as strong as heroin? And a dumb nigga that can't talk right his name is cutting. The stuff got to be bad because white folks now, they wear gloves and masks just to, you know what I mean, to examine it. Because if you breathe in something that's chemically made, although it's opiate based, right? We got to get to those white folks and help them. Because they, white friends at the top, then targeted them, and they gonna knock every cracker that don't have a PhD in the United States, and they on the way to doing it. They're on the way to doing it. It ain't slowing down, right? Now, here's what Islam do for us. Islam put us in a position that we want to interfere with evil. Amir bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Joining the right and forbid the wrong. That's our job here in America. And our job here in America now is to invite all America to Islam. Yeah. They ready for it. But we scared. And they done scared the poor immigrant community so much that they hide it in the house. Hide. You're a Muslim? No, not me. My brother, he Muslim. Look, I ain't gonna move. I swear to God, I ain't gonna move. I don't know nothing. Allah, who is that? Right? But if we have the courage to tell the American people the truth, that's the other Muslims. They won't tell the American the truth. They're afraid to look like a fool. They're afraid to help their fellow Americans. That's why as soon as we say we want to help, they come out with all kinds of black people dying, this state's Tehran, that. And one of the last two things we want to say. Here's a couple of them. You can see your own Saudi friends. For Arab monarchies, Israeli enemies as an ally. Just think how that would have sounded 20 years ago. Saudi Arabia and this old Saudi woman, the big million woman march down there, right? And raising 180,000 something for the Jewish cemetery that's turned over. All the setup is what they say in the paper. Israeli city stunned that bomb threats come from within. In other words, the Jews is doing it. Setting up the Muslims. The dumb Muslims too afraid to speak out. Here's just one more. Declaration of the establishment of the State of Israel. Israel was established 69 years ago today. Throughout these years, the United States and Israel have been partners in democracy. Their people bounded by common values and interests. Well, that's true. The Israelis and the Americans have common principles. Kill everybody that's not on their team. Right? That's the principle in America. If they hire you as a Negro, it's to kill all the other Negroes. And when all them Negroes is dead, or them old dumb Negroes downtown, when it was an all-black city almost, they had all them niggas join together with tax to get rid of us. Now guess what's happened to them coons? They said, well, we thank you, we down from over 50%, almost about 45 something. Well, we don't need you niggas no more. What do you mean? So don't you see all these white folks walking in the home? Well, what do we need you for, nigga? But we was helpful. Y'all see the movie about Geronimo? Who saw that movie? You see this movie, Geronimo? When the Indians, one of the Apaches was helping the white man, and they got Geronimo down. Y'all get on the train. They're going to send the desert Indians to Florida. And they're going to send the Florida Indians to the desert. You know what that is. Okay. So after Geronimo and them getting on the train, all the other Apaches that was the snitches, they said, okay, you guys, drop your guns. So they said, what? Drop your guns. So they dropped their guns. They said, get on the train. They said, well, boss, no, what get on the train. Why? Because you're an Indian. This really happened. Get on the train. All right. I'm just warning y'all. If you're a Negro, once you finish cutting my throat, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, hand me that knife, nigga. Boss, I want to keep on. Hand me that knife. And as you hand the knife, you got a straight razor. He's going to cut you so clean, you're going to be standing, your head going to be, if you hit it, it'll fall off. That's what the white man do. He going to cut you so clean, you ain't going to feel it. But you have enough blood in your brain to say, boss man, not me. Right? Okay. I'm sorry I have to keep y'all a while, and I'm going to go on and wrap it up. But I just want to tell you this before we leave. We are now, this minute, in the great international struggle. We're just not putting up with it. That's all. I'm sorry. We're not putting up with it. It's called Not on My Watch. Not on my watch, I'm sorry. So all of my friends, you think that because they big shots and they foreign ministers and they presidents, that ain't nothing. We started out together, we've grown and you haven't. And you know why I know they ain't no good? The brothers ain't no good, like here in D.C., down the big offices downtown. It's because all of us was in it together. And none of them stopped the other and say, you can't do that to Musa. Don't you remember when he was cut off from everybody? This is our homeboy. None of them, not one did it. So that means, hey man, you made a premier mistake. The time when there's a need for global transition, you're still in a clique. That's why we don't have no clique here. Our clique is the Quran. And I know that's why we start with it, we finish with it. And our talk sounds colored. But our analysis is always from the Quran, from the Hadith, right? From the historical perspective. Everything I'm telling you, and I only told you 2% of it, has happened. And for the government to fail in California, trying to set us up and trying to get us killed, last few years, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, they failed because we laid on their behind, that's all. It's not bragging, it's just they ain't slick enough. They ain't slick enough. See, when you're around 50 years in the struggle, you learn a little sense. You know what I mean? And ain't no dumb police with 10 years experience gonna be able to knock them. The other thing you have to remember, police get their power from their organization, right? An individual police is never probably as smart as an individual criminal. Just one police. Just don't go like that. The nigga gotta be smarter because he gotta figure out how to con people out right here. The police don't do that. The police are like a soldier. There's a difference in, let's call it, training and education. Police and soldiers are what? Trained. Like animals. Rope. If they do this, you do that. That way. It's training. Smart people are what? Educated. They don't educate police, they don't educate soldiers, because if you got too much sense and somebody getting ready to shoot you and you got to go through a whole list of, should I shoot him? Look, I'm going to go through some sociology. That's a poor African American. He probably kind of had a single mom, welfare. Should I shoot him or shouldn't I? Niggas going for a gun. And you were thinking about all of that, right? And you're dead, right? So training is like boxing. When you're in the ring fight, anybody in the ring fight? You can't do that. Brrr, right? Just like that, training. And if you get knocked out on your feet, you can still fight. I was asking my partner, Charlie Shipes, he trained himself first, but he also trained George Foreman on his comeback. We all friends. So he was telling me during those days about Roberto Duran. I think Tommy Hearns had hit him and spin him around back. I don't know if y'all remember that fellow. So Duran was making all these moves. I said, what was that about? He said he was fighting on his feet. That boy was knocked out. But training, you see what I mean? Training. How do we lose our people? Shooting the police, bam, bam, with a 38. The police fall, roll, and shoot the nigga. We lost more people like that. Of course, that's what they train the police. Fall, roll, and shoot. And that doggone old time ticket book saved more police. The niggas shooting the police right there where the ticket book was. That saved more, the ticket book saved more police than anything, and sirens did. Because the niggas were shooting the police that big old thick. So they said from now on, no more 38 specials, an old 38 special shooter. They said from now, 357 Magnum, a little better, 44 Magnum, minimum. That way, whatever he got, it'll knock it out of the way. You see what I mean? Training. In our move, we want to combine the both. We combine education and training. That means intellectual policy, but also training what things are automatic. That's why we don't lose with the system, because I read you something from 1987, they're doing the same thing now. You don't have to think about it. When they roll on you, you already picked it up, and you done already developed the defense. It's training, training, training. But it is not an animal reflex. It is a psychological, called a psychoanimal effect. Now, we'll move toward a close. I was going to talk to y'all about the al-Faqih, but you don't need that to tell you. And if y'all wanted to be a part of a great movement, this is the time. This is the time. The world is changing before your eyes. I'm not talking about a movement because you're mad at somebody like the white man in America. Because after all, we want to rescue the white man from becoming dope fiends, right? We want to rescue his family. The white woman in Virginia don't know why everything is falling apart. And they doing white folks just, y'all ever heard of crystal meth? Crystal meth. Y'all ever heard of crank? Good God, right? Crystal meth is the same as the white folks is what alcohol is to Indians. Boy, you want to see white boys on the road, give them a little bit of crank. You can start off at 250 pounds, and in 3 weeks that boy is 150 max, headed for 125. And he had about 2 hours sleep in that 3 months, 2 months, whatever it is. That's that crank. White people love it. It's their weakness. Where you hear the news, crystal meth, crystal meth, crystal meth. The heart of America, Nebraska, Iowa, Idaho, all of it, that's gone. That's gone 10, 15 years ago. That's dead. So, the last thing, you want to be a part of helping America get this thing. Let's help the people of America. Don't help the people of America. They need help. They whooping Americans like they whoop niggas. We've been whooped worse than anybody, so we can tell them about how to survive. Right? Because as bad as we've been whooped, we still semi-Negroes. Right? We not stark raving crazy for the stuff we've been through. I'll close with this. They talk about, white folks, when they look around and they see somebody black, they want to run it back. Then the blacks were saying, yeah, that makes sense. I said, makes sense. I said, when you turn around and see somebody white, you ought to start hollering and breaking out, right? What's wrong with y'all? When you see somebody black, you ought to feel unsafe, right? When you look around and see some white folks, you ought to, oh God, break out running, ringing bells. There's some white folks back there, right? Talking about shooting people because they look like they're going to do something. Every white folk drive by, you ought to shoot them. Why? Because they was up to something. They're in this neighborhood, and they look threatening. Right? White folk, they do. They look threatening, right? Of course, I'm just joking now. You know, we like white folks. Y'all know we like y'all. But tell the truth. Black people, if you see somebody white outside of your house, or you walking down the street with a bag of groceries at night, you ought to shoot them white folks. Tell the truth. According to, they are a threat to your life, right? And don't talk about a white police pulling you over. You ought to be hollering, help, help. Why? Because a white police. Tell the truth. Right? What's wrong, mister? The white police got a light on back there. Everybody, help, come out of your house. That's what you ought to do, isn't it? Why? So white police. He's got a 5th grade education, he's got a gun, and he's got a badge. He's got a badge and a gun, and he can shoot me, no question asked. Please come out and watch. Isn't that what you should say? Tell the truth. You don't do that, do you? We're going to close. Dear believers, accept thy Islam the way it is and help America become what it should have been in the first place. Through Islam. That's what we ought to do. And don't be scared. The white folk, they can't kill you at one time. You can't die at once. A coward dies 1,000 deaths. A brave man don't die at one time. So if you go out in the cause of good, you're going to go to heaven. Now that's the thing. You are African American, born in America, got a chance to go to heaven. Isn't that a pretty good deal? You ain't got a chance for no job, do you? You ain't got no job offer, right? You ain't got nothing, but you got a chance to go to heaven. Okay, it sounds a little funny, but it's true. If you do what the Quran tells you, that's all we try to do. Thank you very much. O Allah, we seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief, we seek thy refuge from life, strength, and lasers, we seek thy refuge from cowardice and ignorance, we seek thy refuge from being overpowered by death and oppression and pain. O Allah, suffice to be with love and keep us with thy grace, make us free from want, of what it besides. Ameen.